The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody sitting there shooting the breeze with my good buddy Kevin Nash. Kevin, I appreciate you jumping on the show with me, man. I'm down here in Hartwell, Georgia, filming Redneck Island, and I'm having a blast. How you doing?
Good, man. I heard you're in a very serene lakefront crib.
Man, I tell you what, we were talking last night because I was checking on your availability to do the show. And, man, I've been out here in the Hartwell, Georgia area for a couple of days now. I'm going on about a week. And I called my wife the other day. I said, I don't know what we're going to do. We got to get an exit strategy, but we got to get out of L.A. And no disrespect to Los Angeles because it's a great city in and of itself. But, dude, I come from a small town, and all of a sudden, finally, you get a chance to kind of sit back and relax and just hear absolute quiet rather than helicopters, ambulances, sirens, cars, honking, and total BS. So, man, it has been nice to get away from the city of Los Angeles. And you were telling me a story. You had a buddy over at your crib the other day, and I guess you guys were on top of your house on your deck, and y'all was looking at the beach. And what did he tell you?
He was up there having a Bud Light, and he just kind of took it in for a while. We were talking a little bit, and then he just got real quiet, and he just looked over at me and says, I get it. I said, what do you mean? He says, I get it. I get why you're here. I said, yeah, man. So I said, it's my private Idaho. I said, man, this is it. I said, I don't want to go nowhere.
But for a while back in the day, every now and then, you and I address the issue of maybe you getting a crib out in Los Angeles. I don't picture that happening.
I love it out there, but to me, man, it's one of those things after about, and I love it where you live, I like going to Gold's Gym. I like I like that Santa Monica, Venice Marine area, but besides that, I don't want any of it. So, for what I got, with my ocean views and what I got would cost me 10 times out in LA. So that to me, what I'm buying is basically serenity. I'd rather buy it for $1 million than 10. So I'll stay put.
I tell you what, LA is way too high, man. I started just because I'm out here. I'm just looking at prices, but just for the hell of it, the stuff out here is just so much more affordable. I don't understand how anybody is able to live in LA unless you bought a house 10, 15 years ago, because people are just working everyday jobs, and I'm talking about man and woman both working, turning in their ducats to the bank account, trying to pay a mortgage bill out in L.A. It's virtually impossible.
I've got friends of mine that, that they make good livings, but they're not, they're not making seven figures. It's just, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Kristen was a special ed teacher for many years, and she retired after doing that for, 20-some-odd years. But, man, with all due respect to the schools in Los Angeles, some of them, dude, when I pass by 3:30 p.m., dude, I'd be a little worried if I had a kid in that system.
Oh, mine went through it here, I put my kid through public school, and, man, it's like a correctional facility.
Yeah, but dude, where'd you go to high school at? We talked a long time ago because, man, when I graduated with 110 people.
My first 2 years I went to Trenton, which is downriver of Detroit. Then I went to St. Thomas Aquinas, which was on the south side of Detroit, which was a Catholic school, but they were a basketball powerhouse.
Yeah, but what was the worst thing that was going on in y'all's school back then?
Smoking blunts and drinking 12-packs. That was it.
Let's see. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question. We were talking last night, and I've known this for a while, but you sent out a tweet last night with one of your new projects. What you got going on?
We start like production, which will be, for me, it'll be, God forbid, I'll sit down with the choreographers probably starting next Monday and start working on getting ready for Magic Mike 2, which is officially Magic Mike XXL. So, but I've been on a diet now for about, I don't know, maybe 12, 14 weeks.
God, man, I remember when we first started talking about you on that diet, because I remember looking at you when you were at Hulk Hogan's birthday party a couple of weeks on Monday Night Raw. And I noticed your jacks was kind of down a little bit. You're starting to tighten up. So how's the diet process going there at your crib?
I mean, if you ask me, it's great. If you ask my wife, she's like, please. They just pushed us back 10 days. You know, you'd have thought that Nazi Germany was coming into Poland. She's like, dude, really? I thought you were leaving. Like, you're going to be here another 10 days? Like, you know, I mean, my wife loves me to death, man, but I've been such an asshole. She wants me out of that. And it's just like, you know, she goes to the store, like, did you give me those organic sweet potatoes? Did you give me this? And she's like, dude, like, you know, write it on a piece of paper. You know what? On top of that, I'm going to ask the grocery store and buy it.
Hey, well, what are you
doing? You're dying out there. You're dying out there at the lake.
Dude, man, I've been trying to, I got it dialed in. And I've been talking to my people here on the Steve Austin show for the last few months because I had a guy named Stan Efferding on the show. And I was about 265 at the time. And then I listened to a little bit of Stan's advice and got down to 260. And I look decent at 260. I really need to be sub 250. But then, man, I've been trying to come up with a formula for beer because I'm trying to get into the beer business. So over the course of, time, I've been sampling a bunch of beers and I got into those IPAs. Well, they in the IPA out there, they make those session IPAs, but I'm talking about most of them are close to 250 calories a bottle. By the time you slug down 6 of those a night, that's 1,500 calories. I turn into just a total tub of trash. So I'm pushing the scale. Man, the other day I got on the Toledo and it said 274. And I'm like, holy smokes, dude, on my frame. You know, it's not like it could all go to my bicep and my tricep. Mine goes right around my drum. So I finally got it dialed in. I'm running about 275 grams of protein. I'm right at 2 to 210 on my carbs, about 85 on my fat. I'm right at about that 2,900 calorie mark. And my guy that put my plan in place, he says, do not get carried away with cardio because with all your activity, you're still training hard. This is going to be what we need to do. Because, Kevin, what I was doing was trying to come up. I get on the damn internet and I Google in calorie calculators. And one of those damn things, especially the ISSA one, that thing will tell me I need to eat 4,500 calories just to maintain. Right. And then I'll get on one that says I need to eat 2,600 calories. And so there's such a high and low range. It's like I was telling you last night. Like if I get a symptom of something, I'll get on the internet, Google it, and all of a sudden assume I'm dying based on the information that I'm reading. So I've got to take myself out of the equation, put it into the hands of a pro. And like we was talking last night, I believe in a frog's hair's worth of cardio just for a little bit. And in the opening of my show, I was telling the people, after all this years of training, and I'm 49 years old, I've never, ever really warmed up before I worked out. Now, back when I was playing college sports, high school sports, all that, you always warm up because that's what you do. But me being such a dumbass knucklehead, just want to go in there, lay down on a bench or get in a squat rack and start pounding iron. And I do my warm-up through the graduation process of starting light to heavy. But with my 20 to 30-minute pre-core elliptical type thing, I just get up a little sweat. I don't glycogen deplete. I'm not going crazy, but it's warming up my entire body. And, dude, I don't know about how you feeling, but, I mean, I would imagine at 6'10", 6'11", close to 300 pounds, the bumps you took, you don't feel so too damn skippy. So what's your warm-up process been? Because this has really invigorated my workouts, and I'm kind of, even though I'm dieting down, I'm training at an all-new level.
Yeah, well, that's another thing with me is, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, and we know the damage we've got on our bodies. But at the same time, because we've got so many things we're trying to get done in a day, it's like, okay, especially when I had this mentality where I was going to try to do 4 hours of cardio a week. And I was, you know, and because of my body weight, hell, if I get on a treadmill and do an hour, I'll knock off 900 calories. So if I do, you know, 4 hours or 5 hours a week, I mean, I can knock off probably 2 pounds of body weight. But next thing you know, it looks like I'm getting on the starting block to do the 400 medley. You know, I turn to a swimmer immediately because I'm a basketball player. That's what I am. I'm an ecto-meso, but I'm ecto. If I don't train, I get thin.
Yeah, but you start looking stringy.
Yeah, I get real stringy. I mean, I looked at myself today. I just got done in the gym, and once I got a pump, I looked okay. But hell, when I walked in, I mean, if somebody would have said, "But that dude's got some kind of a muscle wasting disease." I mean, geez, I look like hell today. On top of that, I'm growing my hair out for this because my hair was, I basically had a cut, like a military cut for a couple of years. And I thought they would just, put a wig on me. And they said, about 4 months ago, they said, grow it out. Well, hell, now I look like damn Einstein. The texture of my hair's changed because it's gray. I look like hell. Yeah.
No, dude, I'm sure you're pretty handsome still.
That's what I said. When I get in the car and take off next Monday, I probably have one of those Scottish bands in my driveway. Hit the road.
If I pull up beside you at a stoplight, I'm gonna roll my window down and give you the signal to roll your window down. And when you look at me, I'm just gonna say E equals MC squared.
I'll know. I'll probably have the T-shirt. I look like hell, man. I wake up in the morning, man. I just go, and like last night when we talked, I said, I was like 285, 286-ish, and I ate all day long. I ate clean, but I ate all day long. I go to bed. I get up this morning, use the restroom, go weigh myself. I'm 279.5. I'm like, how can I possibly have lost 5.5 pounds sleeping? And I mean,
maybe you were sleepwalking and you went 10 miles.
Exactly. Yeah, sleepwalking on the truck. I said, this is unbelievable.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
You own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. Okay, so what's the lightest you've been recently, and what's your goal weight to get in Magic Mike?
I can't tell because, I know I'm holding water, just because one of the isopures that I'm taking and one of the ProSource proteins I'm taking are kind of higher in sodium. So once I cut my sodium down, I'm sure I'll drop that water. The lowest I've weighed is 277. And
how far are y'all out from filming?
277. My lower back was in. I didn't have a drop on my sides. My first 2 rows of abs were in. I could bench about. I just stayed down with about the 12-pound chrome bells. It's like my strength is not. One of the guys said the other day, "You on this bench?" I said, "No, dude, I'm on the machines." If it ain't got hammer in front of it, I ain't on it.
God dang, man, there's a little gym over here in Hartwell, Georgia. I joined up. And, man, you talk about, I'm right down the road from Gold's Gym, but I stopped training there a couple of years ago. When I get back in shape, I'm going to make my comeback to Gold's Gym. But I've been training this hole in the wall, and it's an okay gym, and I've got a key to it, and I can take Hershey, the wonder dog, and she lays around on the weekends. But there's not a big variety of equipment. So, man, I got in this gym today. There's a couple of pieces in there that are some old school stuff that you just plate load. There's some hammer stuff, and there's some old school stuff, but I've been able to kind of hit everything at different angles, take a little bit of pressure off some of my joints and get some much needed variation, because sometimes left to my own devices and lack of a bunch of equipment, I get in a rut and it's same old. And to a degree, yeah, that's awesome. But you also need a little bit of variety. So, man, I've really kind of intensified my workouts over here. And this little gym they got, I got a question for you. Now, you love red wine about as much as I do, and that's a whole lot. And I know you like to, back in the day, if you were on a program, maybe drink a bottle, maybe 2 bottles. And, myself.
Or 3 or 4.
Well, dude, That one time, that one time when you came over, when we was living at that other crib, and you and I knocked back 8 bottles between the two of us, and then Kristen came out. She goes, "What in the hell happened? Did y'all have a party over here or what?" I said, "Man, what are you talking about having a party?" I said, "It was me and Kevin." There was 8 bottles of wine that we emptied. But so my point is, with your diet, I know you're a wine guy. You like to have a couple of glasses before you go to sleep. You totally off the booze?
I allow myself, calorie-wise, I allow myself 5 to 6 ounces. And I mean, I measured in a measuring cup and the whole bit.
I was drinking out of a measuring cup the other day.
I've done that. Like, why even waste the stemware, right? But it's just one of those things. Like, I'll pour me a glass of wine and we'll sit there, and I watched this god awful show last night. It's you seen Utopia?
No, I haven't, man.
Oh my! Salvador Dali's son is the host. He's not really, but the guy. It's god awful. For some reason, I watched this thing for an hour last night, and I said, when this is over, I'm going to drink my wine. I was so disgusted with the show; it was such a work. I just said, you know what? I said, I put a funnel and put the wine back in the bottle and corked it, and I said, there's no way I'm wasting it. I'll have it tomorrow. Oh man.
Kevin, here's something I want to ask you about. Now you're a guy's guy, right? You know, about like me, to a couple of guys. Man, when it comes to stocking the supplies there at the Nash household, how do you and your illustrious wife split up that duty? Because I find that in Los Angeles, man, my wife, she's working out, she's going to Zumba, she's got a kickboxing class, and I know she's working me. She's working me like a damn rib bone. I'm the guy that ends up going to get the groceries. Now, don't get me wrong. Most time when it comes time to make the Costco run, she'll go because I'll probably get swamped there in Los Angeles. Right. So I moved down here to Georgia, and I started having to go buy all my stuff. And, man, I'm cool. Like, when it comes to going down to Walgreens, because my wife says she needs some tampons, I don't really give a rat's ass. I walk up there and make sure I got the picture of the right model to just go up there, and I ain't got no problem like a chicken wing on a shoestring buying some tampons. But
right.
When it comes to stocking up on them groceries, I'm over at the dishwasher's aisle, and there's a dishwasher here at this crib that they're renting for me, but I wash everything by hand, just like we do at the crib in L.A. And so there was me knowing the value of $1. There was this one little soap gimmick that you use for dishes, and it had a little pump thing on the top, and it cost $3.08. And then right next to that one was the manual kind. You got to pull up the little top on, turn it upside down, and squeeze it for $1.06. So I saved $2 and got the cheap one. But now I'm thinking I outworked myself, because now instead of hitting that little gimmick button on top and squirting it down on my dish, I got to turn the sumbitch upside down and squirt it, and then grab my scrub brush and go to scrubbing. So I outworked myself on that. But me being as cheap as I am, that's what I did. But Kevin, here's the one I wanted to talk to you about. I had to go get some toilet paper, because I don't know what the deal is over here at this crib, but they got single-ply toilet paper, and wiping your ass with single-ply toilet paper is like wiping your ass with a piece of wax paper. And
welcome to Germany.
Dude, when it comes down, and this is my family-friendly show, but when it comes time to taking care of business, I need something that's very effective, but that's when the macho part of me, comes into play. And the brands that I had to pick from was the Cottonelle Clean Care. And see, Cottonelle, that's a pretty decent name. Now, the Charmin Ultra Soft, that was out immediately. The Ultra Soft appealed to a particular part of my anatomy, but the Charmin turned away my ego, so I couldn't get the Charmin. And then they had the Ultra Soft, and the Ultra Soft had a little picture of a bunny on top of it. And then it went back to the Charmin, which was Ultra Strong. And I said, man, that's kind of macho. That's kind of cool sounding. It says strong on there. And then they had the Angel Soft. Looked like a picture of a baby underneath a blanket. So you ain't going to see the Texas rattlesnake up in your line with a bunch of groceries, hamburger, ground turkey, with some Angel Soft up in there.
No.
And then you had some Cuddly Soft. That was the brand name, Cuddly Soft. I can't remember here it is. Here's what I settled on. I settled on the brand name Scott. Now it says extra soft on it, but the fact that it was just a guy's kind of brand, that's what I picked. How do you go about your process when you're picking out toilet paper, Kevin? Am I stupid? Do I need to get over the ego part of this?
I go for when everyone has the oversized roll. That's what I go for, because one thing about eating 8 meals a day is I spend as much time sitting down and on the hopper as I do about anything. And with my knees, once I'm down, I'm there for a while. It's like I ain't getting up. But it's unbelievable. There's only 3 of us: my wife, my son, and myself that live in our house. My wife goes to like the Costco or wherever she goes, and she'll come home with this thing that, I don't know what it is, 36 rolls.
I know the gimmick.
I swear we go through one of those a week. I'm like, I'll be like, honey, where's the toilet paper downstairs? Because I've been, I'm ostracized. I'm downstairs. I can't even use anything upstairs. I'm putting me down with the animals.
You done been banished to the dungeon.
Yeah, I am. I am too. But they got I went ahead and put the best fan in the world in there too, and I got my magazine rack and everything else. Think about putting a TV in there.
Yeah, but are you like me? Is that a lot of times where your social media takes place? We send tweets, read tweets, check up on all the.
Absolutely.
Well, because back in the day, I mean, it was like a quick process. But now I'm getting up in my 50, coming up here in December. You're a little bit older than me. I mean, something so simple as taking a dump takes a little bit more time than it used to be. And I don't know why that is, but it is.
It used to be. I think when I used to dip tobacco, that was always one of those things on the road. Boy, you took a dip and then you went to the bathroom within about 30 seconds.
No, you're right.
It used to be like that with coffee.
Yeah.
I used to drink my coffee and I go to the bathroom. Now it's just like I drink I think it's just that when you eat so much protein, especially when you're eating it like chicken and beef and turkey. We were talking last night, man. They don't even know. I mean, dry turkey. Oh, that Jenny O, whatever, that 99% fat-free turkey ground stuff. You put that on a George Foreman grill for 6 seconds and it's overcooked.
I got to go that 93.7, dude. You're way lean on that because that stuff is hard to choke down. I mean, I got mustard, I got salsa, I got Cholula sauce I put on top of that stuff.
I'm old school Heinz 57.
Heinz 57, but the thing about it is, and it's like a lot of them rookies that just go grab a bottle of ketchup. All of a sudden, you squirt about 6-7 tablespoons of ketchup on there. You might as well be eating a bunch of enchiladas because that stuff got some calories in it.
Oh man, they got. I mean, I think I was looking at we had like a Green Wise, which is like the Publix brand down here, and I was just looking at it. This is before my diet, and I think it had like 7 grams of carbohydrates in a tablespoon in the first. It was like tomatoes, sugar.
Yeah.
That's 1 and 2. I was just like, phew.
Man, there's all kinds of stuff. Last quick story about the damn business in the hopper, because this is when I found out that I needed to go get some toilet paper, and it always happens like this. There's a couple of bathrooms down here in the house. As soon as I sat down and took care of business, I look over. There's 2 squares on the toilet roll.
Ugh.
And you know what? Then you got to waddle your dumb ass over to the other bathroom and take care of your business, and that just ain't cool. So when I bought the toilet paper that I bought, I spread that stuff deliberately around each bathroom in the damn house so that I never get asked out again.
You ever go with the baby wipes?
Oh, dude, you know what? There's some baby wipes right there next to the things. I wasn't even thinking about that.
See, I always keep the baby wipes underneath the sinks of the bathrooms, because no matter what, if you use a baby wipe, you still got to use toilet paper because it's it didn't work. It's not dry. But I mean, as far as just cleanliness, it's the deal. But I always have those as backups. So at least if I do got to go and waddle someplace else, at least I'm not going to drop any shrapnel.
Hey, before we move on to paper
I'm
products.
getting hungry. I'm getting hungry.
Before we move off of paper products and go into a commercial break, and Kevin's going to come back, we're going to talk about some Uber facts. There was two choices when I bought my paper towels. There was Bounty, the quicker picker-upper, and there was Brawny. And so,
Brawny.
The Bounty, the quicker picker-upper, I can dig at because that's a good gimmick. I'm a little ADD, type A personality. But after I had to offset that toilet paper, selection, it was Brawny all the way. I mean, it wasn't another thing but a chicken wing on a shoestring. Brawny was my paper towel of choice. Brought the 2-pack. You a Brawny guy?
Brawny.
Yeah.
I've never seen a red-haired lumberjack before, but they'll throw one on you. Brownie will throw one on you.
The old red-headed lumberjack. You got it here on the Steve Austin Show. Hey, I'm coming right back with my partner who's getting ready. He's on a diet, looking lean and mean for Magic Mike, the second version. Coming right back after this.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
All right, Kevin, how you holding up now that we got all our grocery shopping and BS out of the way? You ready to go through some quick facts and some Uber facts? I want to get your 411 on some of these things.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now they say that these things are, for the most part, true, but if not, at least I will be able to get your 411 and your take on some of this. And on one of the things I got on, it said some quick facts about earthquakes. 15 seismic facts. Number one. Earthquakes aren't that deadly after all. As soon as I read that, that completely turned me off because that's BS. Because it went on to say that the real killers are the other natural disasters that often result from the quakes, which are tsunamis, landslides, and avalanches. Well, hello. If it wasn't for the earthquake, the tsunami, the landslide, and avalanche wouldn't have happened. So that makes the earthquake very, very deadly. So I didn't even go on to the other 14 numbers because if they're going to fill me full of that much crap off number one, that one wasn't worth going into. Give me your thoughts on the earthquake and how deadly it is.
The one that just hit Napa. I mean, you look at structural damage to a city, and the thing is, you don't know to what degree the structural damage hits these things. I mean, it's like saying, the actual wind from a hurricane since the Andrew codes have been put in place in Florida, they really don't cause that much damage. It's mostly the storm surge. Well, exactly. Storm surge, a 20-foot storm surge, a lot of people are going to drown. But I tell you what, the one thing about an earthquake is, the last time I saw that one in Napa, they had the thing on CNN, and this is exactly what it was. It was the National Earthquake Center, and they said, seismic earthquake in 3, 2, 1. They had 3 seconds to react. Well, if you get hit by a hurricane, you're an idiot because you pretty much got about 7 days knowing that thing's coming to get you. I mean, tornado, when conditions are right. I mean, it doesn't take much. And they say there's a tornado warning to go someplace safe. Earthquake, I remember one time I was in that Hyatt Regency downtown in L.A., and in the middle of the night, I heard that I was in one of them towers, and I heard it just creaking. Mm-hmm. It sounded like I was in an old wooden ship. And then I realized, man, this ain't creaking. This thing, and that was that Joshua Tree earthquake.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with my bad knees, I was like on the 20th floor, man. I rifled down those steps and was out of that damn tower in no time.
I ain't got no time for an earthquake, and I'm living up in
None.
California.
Yeah, you're living on the fault line.
Hey, brother, I'm gonna shift gears real quick because I want to get into a couple of things that you and me we have a lot in common in this regard. Here's another Uber fact. It says, short and sweet, the average married couple has sex 58 times per year. I'll go ahead and respond first. 58 times per year just ain't happening for homie here. It's got to be a little bit more frequent, but that's the average married couple. Can you jibe with that, Kevin?
58 times a year. So what is that?
That's 352 days in a year, and that's that's
maybe you're saying once a week.
Yeah, basically once a week.
Well, I think I'd have to throw a penalty flag on that.
Well, I mean, if the average married couple is only having sex 58 times a year, then somebody got to be having an affair because they got to be getting some somewhere. I'm speaking from a guy standpoint.
The average married couple, the dude's 3.5 and she's 250. there ain't much of an incentive. I think our married couple lives are a little bit more active than than the obese.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm a little different, but I'm just a horny son of a bitch. So 58 times per year, man, that ain't happening. If my wife only wanted to have sex 58 times a year, I'd have to do something about that, and we'll save that for the Unleashed show. Kevin, researchers found a huge decline in happiness 4 years into a marriage. Well, hello.
It actually took 4 years?
Yeah, it took you 4 years to figure out you screwed up.
Wow.
I did this several times. Now, with my current situation, 4 years in, I was happy as a lark and still am. I can't say the same for the other endeavors that I was in, but nonetheless, that's what researchers find. Now, why would this happen, Kevin, in your estimation? You're a smart dude.
I always equate it to the new car smell. Once a new car smell's gone, a lot of people just seem to, But it's, to me, a relationship, I guess because I met my wife before I got in the business and we've been together, when you meet somebody now, they meet Stone Cold or they meet, Big Sexy. They don't meet us. It's already a preconceived person that they've seen on television or they've got some idea of where, my wife fell in love with a muscle-headed bouncer at a strip joint. So she gets kudos for falling in love with the broke dude.
But explain the 4-year dip. What's happening? Like you said, new car smell in the story?
Yeah, I think it's new car smell. I think that,
I can work with that.
I also don't think that humans are monogamous.
Well, I think that there's a large part of it that humans aren't monogamous, especially I've met a bunch of guys, and I can vouch for myself. Back in my younger days, I could have been way more monogamous than I was. But that being said, and then also I think a lot of cats just end up because getting married sounds like a great thing to do, or it is the thing to do, and so hey, they just jump into it, and then all of a sudden, maybe there's that decline 4 years later. So whether the Uber fact is indeed correct. Sometimes people make bad decisions. Hey, let's move on, Kevin. There's a child genius who decided to drop out of college and work at McDonald's because he felt being labeled a genius was a burden.
Well, I hope he's smart enough to move to Seattle where marijuana is legal, and if he does work at McDonald's, the minimum wage is $15. So I hope he thought that baby out.
Kevin, did you know, and this is straight from Uber Facts, so you can correct me if you're wrong. You probably have a lot of knowledge in this department. But according to Uber Facts, it's possible to pass gas without making noise if you remove the hairs around your anus.
Well, you know what? Let me just tell you right now that will be my science project because I go get waxed on Thursday.
Dude, you go get waxed for Magic Mike?
I got to. Hell, my ass looks like Teen Wolf.
Man, not to probe too deeply here.
Please don't probe too deeply.
Okay, Kevin, I can understand that you go get your ass waxed for the Magic Mike movie. It's a great payday. That's a dream gig. But will you have the hairs around your anus removed?
I will. With that,
if you want to come back on a different show and tell us about it, you can.
Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back and give a play-by-play. But I'll also be able to tell you if I was able to. Secretly pass gas.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. Next time you come see me, which I probably because we're both going to be in Georgia at the same time. If we go out and get a 12-pack of beer because you're dialed in on your diet and eat a bunch of beans and I ain't hearing you fart, I guess you got your anus waxed.
Exactly.
Well, let's move on down the road and stop talking about Uranus and the planetary system. Hey, Kevin, now here's one for you. Most people are killed by hippos every year than sharks, bears, and lions combined. Because everybody sees the hippo in the zoo, the hippopotamus. Hey, he just look like a big fat sumbitch out there with a big old mouth on him, and he ain't got no sharp teeth. But man, the hippopotamus is a very devastating animal, and I kind of would tend to concur with this because a lot of times people swim out in them lakes and rivers out there where them hippos live, and they get their ass bit up in half.
Yeah, they're basically do the exact same thing that a croc or a gator does, where they grab you and take you underwater and drown you, and then eat you. And they do that to crocs. They do that to They do that to 15-foot crocs. A hippo grab a crocodile, take it down, kill it like it's nothing.
Kevin, do you think there should be a warning label for children who play the game Hungry Hungry Hippos?
I think that the sooner that you make these kids aware of just the deadliness of the hippo itself, I think even stuffed hippos should have some kind of warning that that this is a toy, but if you do come across a real one,
to be forewarned is to be forearmed.
Yeah, please exit the water.
All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's move on. Kevin, during World War II, Japan bombed China with fleas that had been infected with the bubonic plague. Once again, during World War II, Japan bombed China with fleas that had been infected with the bubonic plague. Now, Kevin, my question to you is not to dispute whether they bombed China with the fleas or not, but did they put the fleas in a bomb? Did they outfit the fleas with little bitty parachutes and drop them all left to infest the Chinese population? How did they get the fleas over there?
Maybe they dropped crates of dogs infested with fleas.
No, because the fleas would have been happy staying on the dogs. And I will see. And then, where do you get a bunch of fleas? At the flea market? I think that's a fair question. How do you get that many fleas to enlist in the Japanese army?
They were a powerhouse.
Well, did they have to pass some kind of fitness regimen or physical?
I'm going to have to say BS on that one.
Okay, we're going to call BS on the fact that
I'm going to call BS on that. How could they prove that?
I don't know, dude. That's what I kept going down the Uber fact thing, and I was waiting to see that China's allies had dropped in a bunch of flea collars to combat the fleas that had been dropped on them by Japan.
So heart stock was probably strong in the early 40s.
Yeah, heart is strong in the 40s, dropped off later on. Because these days they got all that kind of liquid you put on their back like we do with our dogs. Our dogs don't even wear a flea collar, so swig of beer for hearts, times are tough. Dig this one. This kind of makes me lose respect for this particular dinosaur because I'm kind of a dinosaur geek. The chicken is the closest living relative of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, how can this be, Kevin? The Tyrannosaurus Rex used to be about 40 some odd feet long, be about, 15, 18 feet tall, and was a fierce predator. And it might have been a scavenger as well. But I think when they're born, they got some feathers on them, so now the chicken's related to a T-Rex. I don't see how that plays out.
Tell you one thing, man, evolution played some tricks on the old T-Rex.
Well,
I'll tell you one thing. I've ate about 95,000 chickens in the last 6 weeks.
Dude, I'm so sick of chicken. I've been eating so much. I think I'm about to start laying eggs. Now, you and I have been on the road a long time in the business of pro wrestling, and when you and I have been eating, we've always kind of argued over the bill. Sometimes you'd snatch it up. Sometimes I would snatch it up, and it would be all the way across the table. Sometimes you take a mofo out to dinner, and they get them T-Rex arms, because that's the thing about the T-Rex. T-Rex got them little bitty short arms. Put your elbows on your rib cage, people, while you listen to the Steve Austin Show, and see how far you can reach by keeping your elbows on your rib cage. That's a T-Rex arm. That's the person that does not want to pay for the check at dinner, lunch, or breakfast. Am I correct, Kevin?
Yeah, but he will be the only person that orders dessert.
You're right about that. And then have the nerve to get the T-Rex arm.
Yeah, or use the restroom.
Yeah.
How many times you heard this one? Yeah, but $100 to use like $1 to me. It's like, what do you mean that? If my knees weren't so bad, my low back and everything else, don't think I won't bend over and pick up a quarter. I ain't going to get a penny, dime, or nickel, but I'll pick up a quarter. That's only because I can grab, at least like dexterity-wise, can grab that damn thing. But
I got to go with you on this. On a monetary level, I will stoop down to pick up a nickel. And the only reason I'm picking up that penny is because I'm superstitious. I figure it might be the good luck.
Pennies are like, I got a phobia with pennies.
Well, I got
a
phobia about the dime.
I won't touch it.
Yeah, but the thing about the dime is smaller than the penny. It's worth 10 times more, but it requires more effort because it's smaller. So I might pass up the dime just if I'm in a real lazy mood.
You know, when you're scrolling on the toilet, Uber facts are quite fun.
Hey, man, check it out. Kevin, according to Uber facts, the average person will spend 2 weeks of his or her life kissing. You down with that?
It just depends who you work for. Is it kissing their ass or...
Dude, I don't know. Okay, now going back to the 4-year mark, everything was cool, but hell, man, after 4 years, it's like an act of God to get my wife to kiss me. I can barely get a peck on the cheek. The hell with kissing, but as long as I can get anything else, I'm down. So kissing, it ain't like we spend a whole lot of time just making out over at the crib over at 316 Gimmick Street.
I know that we kiss every morning when we see each other because she's up before I am. And we kiss each other because she goes to bed before I do. She'll come over and amuse me in the
Yeah,
TV
but y'all ain't making out. That's what I mean. It ain't like mugging and like when you was in high school and college and stuff. It's a whole different level.
Well, sometimes I might get on the couch just to get a couple kisses in.
Listen, okay. Well, since we're talking about kissing, I got another one. Hugging for 20 seconds releases oxytocin, which can cause you to trust someone more. Now, if I hug Jeffrey Dahmer for 20 seconds, I can guarantee you I ain't going to trust that sumbitch as far as I can throw him. So I got to call BS on that one.
Yeah, my wife's one of them people. Well, my wife can meet somebody in 2 seconds and know whether they're she's never wrong either. If they're evil, man, my wife will meet somebody and I'll say, he seemed like a good, she'd be like, nah, he's a creep and she's weird. 6 months later, they're trying to be swingers with us. We're like, well, you picked that out, sweetheart.
Hey, Kevin, did you know that it's actually illegal to name your child IKEA in Sweden? And that broke my heart because me and Kristen were thinking about buying a third home in Sweden and having a kid and naming it IKEA. And when I found out that piece of information, the deal was off the table. That was a deal breaker for me.
I think you're also not allowed in America to name your kid Berkshire Hathaway.
Kevin, let's move on down the road. Now here's one. Bumblebees perform small warm-up exercises before taking flight. Now, this kind of equates back to my little warm-up routine that I started doing before I work out right now. And I have never seen a bumblebee hanging out on the ground doing DDP yoga before it takes flight. Now, it would stand to reason, since this is a low-impact muscle-building workout, that it would make a lot of sense for the bumblebee to do this. I just can't jive with the fact that a bumblebee is going to warm up before he takes flight.
Yeah, though I did, the other day I went by there was 2 bumblebees on a lilac bush. If I wasn't mistaken, I heard one of them say, bang! So I'd have been doing some wires, yeah. I don't know.
Two bumblebees on the lilac. Yeah, but once again, I got a little laundry drying over there in the washing area, and 2 of the toughest human beings talking on the face of the earth, talking about bumblebees on lilac bushes. Kevin, did you know that farts can cause infections to other people if the person farting is naked, but not if they're clothed? I guess that layer of filter, the underwear, would keep the germs from getting up out of that fart. Can you jive with that?
Boy, don't tell my wife that, man. She hates that. I sleep naked, boy. No wonder she's always sick.
But I was just fixing to say, dude, I know ain't no way you Dutch ovening your wife.
Once she falls asleep, man, it's fair game.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
Kevin, did you know the Egyptian pyramid workers were paid with beer? 1 gallon per day. Now, when you think about it, dude, that's a hell of a payday.
in that sun, I bet you got a hell of a buzz.
Well, I mean, dude, you're going back to when were the pyramids built? You're a little bit better with history than me. Was that the BC or the AD days? But
That
it
was
don't matter.
before
Remember,
Christ.
that was back in the day, man. You could probably
Yeah,
get a
because
gallon of gas.
Moses that was back in Moses' time.
You could get a gallon of gas for like a cent. Nobody's driving cars
Yeah,
anymore. You're riding camels.
Well, I mean, those chariots, they got real good gas mileage.
The chariots were more green than the damn Prius, the Toyota Prius. Kevin, now you own a couple of Mercedes and a Ford Bronco, illustrious Ford Bronco guy like myself. I've been trying to lessen my carbon footprint. I'm not a very green guy. Would you ever consider buying a Toyota Prius for yourself and your wife to help out the cause of the Earth's ecology?
The reason that I put my wife and my son in a Mercedes S-Class is because I saw when Princess Di's car hit that pillar going 90 miles an hour, and the person that had their seatbelt in the front seat survived, and everybody else died because they didn't have the seatbelts on. And I said to myself, I'll take my chances in that tank because, I mean, my biggest thing is, especially when we were on the road so much, if something happened to your family while you were gone. Now, as far as the Bronco, that's just sentimental. I don't drive it. It's not my everyday driver. I drive it probably, and my, I only probably drive round trip maybe 15, 20 miles a day in it, which is 13 gallons of gas.
Yeah, but dude, you just had that thing repainted. You had maroon, you had some ghosted in flame jobs on there, and you had it repainted. What color did you paint it?
It's a burgundy wine now, and I had the interior was tan. The interior is black now, and the only thing I got left to do now is I've got to put. I'm going to revamp the stereo on the inside.
Dude, I remember when you first bought that thing, Eddie Bauer edition, and that thing was badass. How many miles you got on that thing these days?
I think it just turned 120.
Oh, man, that's still pretty damn low mileage.
Yeah, I mean, for 93.
And you got it lifted and everything, right?
Yeah, it's got I think it's a 7-inch total lift, 3 and then 4 body.
Now, how does that run? And does that motor handle them wheels?
I had it. I had the engine blueprinted, so it's a little over 6. It's like it was a 5 point. I had I had the Cleveland in it, and then it's like it was. I think it's 6.5 now. It's bored to about 6.5 liters, and I took the fuel injection off and put a carburetor on it. So I mean, I did just about everything you can do to make sure that it gets no gas mileage. And I got to run it on premium, and it actually runs better if I take it up to the airport and put 100 octane in it.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah, I got that going for me. But at the same time, it's like it's the first thing I ever paid for my wife. It's the first thing I ever owned outright. So it was like, I ain't getting rid of it. Did you see the bogus 2015 Bronco that they put as an April Fool's joke?
Yeah, I saw that one. That was actually pretty sweet. And then they showed.
Man, I had that thing ordered. I was trying to find somebody that could get me one. I said, you know what? I will actually give my brother-in-law my Bronco and get this new Bronco.
Oh, dude, I was going to do the same thing, but it turned out it was a damn rib. And see, the Ford Explorer, whatever, Expedition Explorer, whatever, took the place of the Ford Bronco just because everybody wanted 4 doors. And don't get me wrong. I got a 2-door truck and I got a 4-door pickup truck. And that 4 doors is very handy. But when you're talking about an iconic vehicle like the Ford Bronco or the Jeep Wrangler for that matter, 2 doors, that's the ticket, man. And if they would bring that thing back with a decent motor, none of that low-end crap that they're putting a lot of stuff, put a decent motor, I'd buy one tomorrow.
I would too. The one that they had, that silver one that they had online, I looked at that, boy, and I was just like, man, I am all over that. And they said that they're going to have a 6.3 liter engine, a 5.8 liter, and then of course they're going to have that Eco Boost, whatever, the one that you can't get on the highway.
Yeah. Hey, dig this. LeBron James makes about $7,700 per shot during each basketball game. So theoretically, if LeBron wanted to give himself a raise, all he got to do is start shooting the ball more. True or false?
I would definitely start launching.
Giving birth is the second most painful thing a human can experience. The first is being burned alive. That is a fact. Giving birth is the second most painful thing a human can experience. The first is being burned alive. I'm going to throw my hat in and name the third most painful thing a human can experience. That's a bad marriage.
Yeah, I mean, bad marriage is pretty bad.
I mean, you ain't never give birth, and you ain't been burnt alive yet. You got a good marriage, so I guess you couldn't vouch for any of those.
I watched my wife give birth, and I mean, my wife got in there. It was from the minute her water broke to the minute I was holding my kid was 42 minutes later, and 20 of it was driving to the hospital. I said, man, that's pretty intense. And the doctor looked at me. She said, "You want to cut the umbilical cord?"
What'd you say?
I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, go ahead and do it." I said, "Oh, on my son?" I thought maybe it was a job opening or something. No, I cut the umbilical cord, and they wrapped him up and handed him to me, and I was like, man.
When I was, we were working in New York one night, and my second wife was about to have a baby, and all of a sudden I get a phone call, her water breaks. So she's going to have the baby the next day. So I got on a flight the next morning, flew down, my neighbor picked me up, went down to the hospital in Lithia Springs, wherever it was, walked in, and as soon as I walked in, 5 minutes later, the baby was born. I picked up the baby and gave Cassie her first bottle and said, well, okay, I got to go. Got on an airplane, made it to Pittsburgh, worked Mellon Arena that night.
My wife put on 21 pounds of total body weight through her entire pregnancy. You know, so I mean, basically she had a baby, a placenta, and that was it. So, she gave birth 3 days later. Hell, you couldn't tell she was ever pregnant.
Kevin, did you know about 90% of baby changing tables in public restrooms have tested positive for cocaine? Now, Kevin, I don't know what your stance on cocaine is or not, but a baby in diapers should not be snorting cocaine.
Yeah. And now you wonder why those kids are so loud on the planes. They're all jacked up, wired up.
Brother just said, hey, they just want to get their fix.
That's right.
Kevin, if trained correctly, humans can run at a top speed of 40 miles per hour. Today's fastest runner, Usain Bolt, has a top speed of 28 miles per hour. Now, Kevin, if the fastest man in the world is Usain Bolt, and ain't nobody can touch this guy, how are they going to say that a human can top a speed of 40?
I think that goes back to the most painful death. He can run 40 miles an hour while being burned to death.
Because he's trying to, but see, you got to have the water at the finish line.
Exactly.
Kevin, let's wrap this thing up with a couple more shenanigans. And I think you can speak to this. Women speak about 7,000 words a day. Men average just over 2,000.
Yeah, but you know what? My wife and I, like, she was on the phone yesterday, and she was talking to one of her girlfriends, and like the dog just sat and looked at her because she's not a phone person. Like, she don't talk too much. She'll talk to me, she'll talk to my son, but I'd say my wife and I are about pretty much on even keel. Like, we'll sit downstairs and watch TV for 3 or 4 hours, and I mean, we may have 75, 80 words we say back and forth. Usually it's just, hey, do you want to kiss? Something like that.
Dude, but
you want to kiss or have sex again?
Men just over 2,000 words. If I'm not doing a podcast or if I'm not on set, it just me left to my own devices. I'm like a deaf mute. I don't say a damn word. I don't even talk. So I would be below the national average. I mean, there's a couple times down at the ranch where I might not even get in a couple hundred, and there's also been times when I was in an argument with my wife and I averaged about 2 words.
Well, I always, one thing I learned early in life, man, is never argue with somebody you're going to try to sleep with at the end of the night. So
yeah, anything could happen. Kevin, did you know that dysania is the state of finding it hard to get out of bed in the morning? you, like me, probably have chronic dysania.
I just thought it was called beat the shit.
Yeah, I just thought it was calling the results of a 15-year career in pro wrestling. You want to call it dysania? I'll call it 15 years of pro wrestling, potato, willy-nilly.
Jeez. We're so beat up. I mean, today I had one of those mornings, man. I just laid there and just was like,
why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Like Jake LaMotta punching the wall in the cell. Why?
Hey, Kevin, let's wrap this up with three more. Did you know the word nothing was actually Kevin, let's wrap this up with about three more. Did you know the word nothing was actually an Elizabethan slang term for vagina? Now, what is an Elizabethan? I can't even say that. Stacy, leave all that in there. An Elizabethan, is this a time period, Kevin? You're the big brain there.
Yeah, it's a time period. I guess that's why when you come home and your wife says, "What you been up to?" you say nothing.
I'm gonna go take a shower.
Yeah, we'll take a shower until these underwear wet.
You know, and I guess that only lends itself to, one of the best lines in the movie Cool Hand Luke. Sometimes nothing is a real cool hand.
And nobody can eat 40 eggs.
No, it's 50 eggs. I told a story the other day.
It is 50. Yeah. It's 50. You're right. So Scott Hall would beat me for not knowing that.
Oh, God, I can eat 50 eggs. Nobody can eat 50 eggs. My boy Luke says he can eat 50 eggs. He can eat 50 eggs.
He can eat 50 eggs.
Baba Luga, we got a bet. Kevin, drinking a banana milkshake can cure a hangover. Now, I'm saying bull on this. Now, if you make a banana milkshake, put in 2 Vicodin and a Percocet, then you might have something. You might have a cure for a hangover. But then bananas, 2 shots of vodka and I'm not buying a banana milkshake by itself.
I'd go Mexican food before I'd go banana.
Oh yeah, because at least you take a dump and it takes your mind off the hangover. Kevin, last one. Artificial raspberry flavoring is partially milked from the anal glands of beavers. Artificial raspberry flavoring is partially milked from the anal glands of beavers, and I don't know if the anal glands have been waxed or not, but nonetheless.
See, that was going to be my question. So that way there, I mean, that's the purity is probably. I know that I probably won't have any artificial raspberry flavoring in the near future.
I just threw out half my candy.
I was wondering why I was enjoying that raspberry crest I bought the other day.
Dude, speaking of Crest, I bought some toothpaste the other day, and it was Crest. And, each brand these days, whether it's Colgate, Crest, or Ultra, whatever it is, they all got a bunch of different flavors. These days, toothpaste is so damn good, I look forward to brushing my teeth. Sometimes in the middle of the night, if I get hungry, I could go in and get 2 pieces of bread and put some peanut butter on one side and some toothpaste on the other, have a peanut butter and toothpaste sandwich, and accomplish 2 tasks at one time. Get my munchies on and clean my choppers.
And you can always wash it down with an Arctic Blast shot of Listerine.
Artificial raspberry flavored. Hello.
You had me at hello.
Hey, Kevin, let's wrap this whole thing up. I appreciate you coming on the show and helping me out. So
sure, bud.
When are you going to start doing the Magic Mike thing?
I should be working my groove on Tuesday of next week.
Now, when y'all go do these dance rehearsals, now how intense is that? You got a bunch of guys in there. You're wearing now is this in full G-string, or y'all just in your gym shorts? I mean, going through the process. So you're trying to get in the character.
Usually, we start off with just we'll learn it. Like I'll just wear a pair of shorts. But when you do when you get closer to doing it, they want you in your gear because you tear stuff off and everything else. I mean, for me, it's nice because Channing is such an incredible dancer. The bar is set so high, and they know. I mean, hell, at last movie, I'm in a knee brace. I can barely move. So it ain't like anybody's gonna think that I'm Dancing with the Stars. I mean, they choreographed everything for me with wide bass, not a whole lot of spinning. So my stuff's more show than go, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there for comic relief. I'm not there for the bump and grind.
You're not
I'm
hanging upside down.
years old.
You're not hanging upside down with one of the poles between your ass, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. And if I do, at least I won't be leaving any hair residue.
All right, I'm talking to Kevin Nash. Kevin, what's your Twitter handle again?
Real Kevin Nash.
Real Kevin Nash, because the fake Kevin Nash is a real asshole. So follow Real Kevin Nash on Twitter. That son of a bitch. If I could just punch him right in the mouth, Lord help him.
I
have. Hey, Kevin, I appreciate the show.
Cool, buddy. Good on you, mate. Enjoy the lake, and hopefully we'll get a chance to hook up while I'm down there with you.
Toss another shrimp on the Barbie.
You got it. Take care, my friend.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
See what hit blockbusters are streaming free this month during Popcorn Summer Movies on Pluto TV. Watch Django Unchained or Transformers Dark of the Moon for an action-packed evening, or The Truman Show and School of Rock for a good laugh with the whole family. Plus, Pluto TV has thousands of other free movies available on live and on demand. Download Pluto TV on all your favorite devices for free and start streaming now.
Guess who's on the Adam Carolla Show? Sean Astin.
Encino Man, which I can't imagine you remember, but that was Brendan Fraser's kind of most popular movie, breakout movie.
Know it well. Never saw Lord of the Rings. Seen Encino Man more times.
You've seen Encino Man 15 times. Yeah. I know. It says a lot about you. Kihui Kwan, who was then going as Daniel Kwan, had a small little part in that movie. It was Pauly Shore, and then I was the kind of straight man to Pauly and Brendan. The fact that these two guys, I actually posted a picture of the two of them, of Brendan and Keith, shaking hands, and then in the background, me and Pauly, small in the background, are like, huh? And for them to find a part that people would love, I just so proud of them, so great for them. Now it's between me and Pauly who's going to get the next one.
The Adam Carolla Show, wherever finer podcasts are found.